Hey everyone, SweetJohnnyCage here. Welcome back to part 14 of the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree full playthrough walkthrough. In this section of the walkthrough, we're going to cover the entirety of the Abyssal Woods. This is this central area that we do not yet have the map fragment for. We reached this area in the previous section of the walkthrough when we went through Shadow Keep and then exited through a secret coffin exit and ended up at the Castle Watering Hole, followed Recluse's River all the way down to the Darklight Catacombs, made it through the Darklight Catacombs into the Forsaken Graveyard, and defeated the boss. So now we have access to the Abyssal Woods. The Abyssal Woods is a really interesting area that you cannot ride Torrent through. Torrent is always afraid in this area. You can get like a little ways into the area, but then you get kicked off. That said, if you know of a way to ride Torrent through this area, please leave a comment. There doesn't seem to be a way so far, but I've seen folks on Reddit saying they've seen people's player ghosts riding Torrent, but I don't know, that sounds weird to me. Anyway, I'll show you my stats before we get started. Level 201 with a level 13 Scadutree Blessing and a level 6 Revered Spirit Ash Blessing. So far, we've collected 29 Scadutree Fragments and 12 Revered Spirit Ash, and we're ready to go. So, if we read this message on the ground from the developers, it says it awaits inside. And the game is going to do its best to like scare you in this area. If you were to try to ride Torrent, it says the spectral steed is frightened and cannot be summoned. You can ride it in the boss room and then ride it out here, and then you'll just get kicked off. It says turn back while you are yet able. And then we are going to get invaded in this area. You want to be very careful when moving through the Abyssal Woods. You can see the Site of Grace there. It'll be interesting to see if we see a player riding. Don't let it see you. Once you are seen, there is no escape. It cannot even be touched. So these messages are speaking about an enemy that appears here in this area. But we're not going to see it for a little while yet. Our first destination is just going to be along this road. We are going to come across this NPC here called the Madding Hand. And then this is a kill once enemy here. Wow, everybody's just spamming this message ahead thing. So we can get a backstab on him. This is a martial arts user who will constantly try to hit us, and every single hit deals frenzy damage. So you gotta be very careful. Oh, madness, we might be dead. Whoa! I thought we were locked into the actual animation, so I didn't even go in on him. Whoops. Okay, we'll try that again. It's really funny that everybody's just writing message ahead. Try that again. Every enemy here can build madness. This is a pretty good area for like farming animals, though. There's a ton of animals in this area. Lots to do, lots to kill. I'm gonna get my souls back before we even begin going in on this guy. All right, yeah. So he's got quite a lot of madness kind of abilities here. All right, that's the Madding Hand, and he will drop his weapon, which is called the Madding Hand. A glove stitched together from the flayed skin of the victims of a butcherous bloodbath afflicts target with madness, raises attack power when madness is triggered in the vicinity. Forged of an unyielding black impulse toward revenge, fostered in those who were hunted down as heretics by their own brethren, these are the weapons of the utterly downtrodden. So things are jolly here in the Abyssal Woods. There's a lot of rats. The rats cause frenzy as well. We're going to keep following this path, and this path is going to lead us to a church. And that church is going to have the map still. So you can see the church in the distance there. You can kill the rats if you like. I don't know. You don't really have to, though. Just to make this go a little bit faster, we're just going to rush the map still and go into the church. There's a Site of Grace within the church as well. So the ambient music in this area is actually quite helpful. and that is for an enemy type that we're going to encounter. It's actually the one that we are being warned about. So get the map of the Abyss here, and now we have the completed map. Great. So this area does seem quite large. It is big, but it's mostly empty. And it's sort of a maze of sorts. Not exactly a maze, but you're meant to go through it in a specific way. All right, go ahead and light the Site of Grace, and then pick up 2 Scadutree Fragments. That should be 30 and 31 for you. But there is also a Perfume bottle right here. This is the Frenzyflame Perfume bottle. From time to time, perfumers set out on new journeys to pursue new aromatics and flower gardens. Okay, cool. So, this is the church ruins. This is the woodland trail Site of Grace, and then the Forsaken Graveyard. Okay, so it is now time to talk about the enemies that we're being warned about. I am just going to pull up my map here because there are a couple of items here that I want us to get. There's not a lot in this place, but there's a couple of cookbooks that specifically deal with Frenzy. Okay, so we got the Mad Craftsman's cookbook. Okay, so actually we have quite a lot of souls. We should level up. Okay, very good. All right, so what you want to do is you want to equip a shield, or just have a shield ready that can parry. Doesn't matter what shield it is. It doesn't have to really block any damage. It just has to be able to parry. So if you have a shield that you like using, put parry on it if you'd like. I prefer not to have a weapon art on my shield, so I'm not going to. And so now what we're going to do is we are going to... Just checking my map here. All right, let's go back this way. And then from here, we are going to proceed deeper into the woods. Now, there are some items over here. They're really not worth much. It's just like cured meat and such. If you want, you can grab them. I don't know. I always make a habit of grabbing everything, so... Wow, that was a waste of time. I just want to make sure that we can keep this video in a decent time frame. I don't want this to go on too long. So I think I'm just going to prioritize picking up the important things. Everything else is mostly just like runes and meat. There's not much point to picking up everything. The clarifying boluses are helpful, but you're really not going to need them. Yeah, it's the frenzy buildup in this place is going to come really fast, and it's not really going to be worth clearing. But if you have the ability to craft frenzy boluses, then go for it. You have a lot of elders in this area. They are one of the main enemy types. So we can come up here. But again, you have like this big expansive area, but really not much in it. Typically when you see those elders, they will lead you to some things, but for the most part, you could just ignore them. All right, let's move on. Again, it's just meat and stuff. It's really not anything to write home about. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. I don't want to waste too much time here. All right, so our priority now is to just get through the woods, get the cookbooks, and then get to the Legacy Dungeon. So let's run past the map still. And then we're going to find a way deep into the woods. So make sure you have your shield that has parry on it. And the parry timing for the enemies that we're going to be dealing with, it's not super strict. You will likely die a few times while working on it, but the very nice thing is that there are a couple of stakes of Marika within the woods, and the enemies that we can parry are kill once enemies. So we're only ever going to have to deal with them one time, or rather, if we kill them once, that's it. They're dead. So I'm going to kill these rats just to kind of get rid of them and make sure that we're not bothered. Mama Rat is not pleased with us, so we're going to kill her too. Okay, great. So we're going to come over here. Wow, there's another rat. There's like tons and tons of rats here. Okay, so we're going to come over here, and you can see the enemy in the distance, right? So we have hide yourself, make not a sound, quietly await your chance, combat is not an option. That's a bit of a lie. So the sort of like intended way is to crouch in the undergrowth. It's literally telling you, but all the player hints are going to tell you to parry. There was somebody in my chat, I believe by the name of Glenn Philippar, who was the first one to tell me to try parrying. So shout out to Glenn for letting me know about this. But what you want to try to do is get very close to these enemies and then just pop up. So target it and then pop up and then wait for it to cast its magic wand, parry, riposte, and then be ready to deal the second hit. Once you parry them, their like shadow cloak goes away and then you can kill them. So that for the first one, I'm not sure if it's this specific one or just the first one that we kill, we get the Aged One's Exultation. It says it's a talisman depicting the exaltation of the aging untouchable, whose head resembles a sprig of ripe grapes. Raises attack power when madness is triggered in the vicinity. Quote, gift your madness to our Lord. Bless our brethren with grapes. Take care that they fully ripen. So, you basically just want to parry it when it's like magic wand thing that's glowing is beginning to move toward you. So it's going to hold up the wand and then it's actually going to like strike you. You want to parry when that strike is about to happen. The timing is, in my opinion, a little generous. I'm not that great at parrying in Elden Ring, and I typically don't have that hard of a time with these guys. There is a pair of them a little later on that you'll have to deal with. They can be pretty tough. Now, these stalks of grapes are noisemakers. If you were to run into them, they will jingle, and the aged one will see you. So you don't want that to happen. So we're going to do the same thing. Sneak up on it, pop up, and then parry. I missed. Okay, so unfortunate. Try to get near it again. All right. That stinks. It's okay. Luckily, the first one stays dead, so we can literally just run up to this one. It's a tough parry. I find the window to be a little bit generous. It's not as tight as like a boss or something. But if you have Buckler Parry available to you, like the Ash of War called Buckler Parry, that one comes out a lot faster. So go with that one. But regular parry works the same. It's just a different window. So again, that first one stays dead, and then we can just move through. I mentioned earlier that the music in this area is important, and that is because it changes whenever these aged ones are in the vicinity. You sort of get this like operatic effect that is not present unless these enemies are around. So if you ever hear that operatic, just know that the frenzied ones or the aged ones are nearby. Oh, come on. How did it even see me? All right, I'm going to try to heal and then just get my runes really quick. Nice. Okay, very good. So we get a swollen grape, and we'll get a swollen grape from each one from here on out. So if you were to accidentally walk into these things, they make a bunch of noise, and then we'll summon the aged one nearby. The aged ones can also teleport, which is absolutely terrifying, but they can teleport to you, so even if you find yourself running away from them, there's really no escape, which is just insane. Okay, so just trying to pay special attention to a cookbook. That's that. All right, the cookbook is in this intersection here. So this cookbook should be right over here to the southwest of this tree. Center, yeah, should be like somewhere over here. There should be a cookbook there. And then there's another cookbook by the waterfalls over here, but we'll find that later. Yeah, okay. Cool. So let's just drop down. Great. So now we have a choice. There's a bit of a fork in the road here. If you'd like, you can go to the right, which is actually what we're going to do, because there is another site of grace over here, believe it or not, which is kind of nice. Now, you want to be careful, because the aged ones can hear you, and they can also just hear your actions. So, what I mean by that is sometimes there will be animals, or rats mostly, near the aged ones, and those rats can actually give your position away if you were to kill them, or even just start swinging your sword. The aged ones are really, really susceptible to noise. They have incredible senses of hearing, so you want to be careful with them. Okay, so we can head towards 2, or we can head towards 1. All right, let's clear this out first, just because we're here. All right, so this one can be a little annoying just because you can be so far away at times, and it's tough to like get him to move toward you. But once he sort of goes over there and begins a lap, we'll come over here. Okay. I'm going to try to get into this bush over here just because that's a lot closer. Unless he actually walks this way. I feel like he's likely going to turn around, though. This one's patrol path is kind of wide. Yeah, actually, I think we can get him. Yeah, nice. We should be able to get him. So when you're ready, pop up and get ready to parry. I parried that pretty early. That's what I mean by the window being somewhat generous. You can start your parry pretty early. Okay, so that's that one. And again, as soon as you kill one, it never comes back, so you kind of are able to just run through the rest of the area, which is really, really nice. Okay, we're coming up to a really difficult area here, and that's because there are 2 of them, and it's really, really tough to deal with 2 at once. And you can't really lure them out. You can distract them, which is nice. And luckily, there's a Stake of Marika right here. You can distract them, which is helpful, but it doesn't really solve all of your problems. So I'm going to come over here, sneak into this bush over here, and as soon as you aggro one, you're going to aggro the other. So what I'm going to try to do is shoot an arrow here. All right, let's try to shoot an arrow over here, distract this one for a while. All right. Yeah, that one's boogieing. He's going to teleport in a second. Just kill that one. All right, that's fine. I'm okay dying here. We killed one. Yeah, we killed one. That's fine. All right. Yeah, killing one is a huge help. Because now we can sort of just run through here a little bit more quickly. But now, unfortunately, we do have to try to get close to the other one. So we're just gonna have to wait for him to path around. But killing that first one is huge. Now, the really interesting thing is we haven't picked one up yet, but I'll wait. I'll wait to talk about it until we actually pick it up, just because it's a nice little Easter egg, and I don't want to spoil it before we get to it. All right, so there's rats over here. So we need to be very, 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 very careful. Because we don't want to aggro the rats. You can hear them squeaking in the distance there. Parried way too early there. Oh, I was like, what? I love the way that they zoom around. I think it's so funny. All right, unfortunate. Believe it or not, there's not many left. There's only, I think, one left. And it's in a dark area near the other cookbook. So after we kill these, we're kind of safe for quite a while. Turn around, bright eye. Ooh, I don't like that. Cool. Great. Okie doke. So there's another site of grace down this hill, along with a cookbook. Site of grace is just over here. My first time through this area, I was running and just trucking and running and running and running away from these things. Just because I kept hitting the noisemakers on accident. And I saw this site of grace, and then one of them teleported and killed me. So this was sort of like a, oh no, it's so close kind of moment. All right. Cool. So, like I said, we are mostly safe. There is one left that we're going to deal with. But we're going to get a cookbook first. Should be on a corpse over here. And aside from the one, I think it's just one that we have left. Aside from the one aged one that we have left, the only other enemies are rats, and then there are a couple of elders as well. Okay, grab this cookbook. This is Mad Craftsman's cookbook number 1, which teaches us how to craft Frenzyflame pot and a roped Frenzied Flame pot. These rats can drop rune arcs, just like all rats. Pretty rare, though. God, hearing the squeaking of the rats is just gross. Having lived in an apartment with mice, it just always makes my hair stand on end. We had humane traps. I would let them out. Don't worry. I wouldn't just kill them like this, but God. I used to hear them, like, at night. They would chew through the dog food bag. We would find them on the floor. That apartment sucked. Anyway. We're going to move on through here. All right. Okay. Oh. Okay, I didn't really want to go down that way, but that's fine. So we've got some elders here. Site of Grace is just back through there. Okay, I'm going to go this way. Now, we're going to get into a really dark area that has an aged one hiding in it. So as you approach this area, it's just going to get darker and darker and darker. And it's sort of like an artificial fog, but you have to be careful. And pay very close attention to the music. When the music changes and you hear a voice, that's when you're going to start to get near them. It's not over here, is it? I just remember it being in that dark area. Okay, yeah, just be on the lookout. Try to look for the orange glow. Yep, that's it. I can't see it. I think that's it right there. Yes, it is. Too early. Damn. Buried way too early. That's the last one. I think this Take America is actually at the beginning. I don't think it's sending me back to the one by the side of Grace. It's totally fine. But, yeah. Okay, all good. We're pretty close to it, at least. So we're just on the other side now, which is nice. All right, we're in the vicinity. Just heard the vocal cue. I think it's right there. Yes. It's funny. This is a lot easier at night because it's actually like pitch black in here, and so you can see the glow. Nice. Brilliant. Cool. All right, that's the final one. And then we're basically safe from here on out. Ooh, that person got messed up. All right, the cookbook should be in this direction, but it might be on a ledge. Yeah, higher area. That's all good. As long as we killed all of them, that's fine. All right, let's move on through. So we can unequip this shield now. We no longer need that. And we just got to get up there. So yeah, that's the Abyssal Woods. Unfortunately, even after killing all of them, and even after killing the boss of this area, you cannot ride Torrent. But again, I've seen comments on Reddit of people saying they've seen folks ride Torrent through here. If you know how to do that, please leave a comment, because I'd be so interested. I figured as soon as you killed all of them, you'd be able to, but it's not the case. These are Eyes of Yellow. Grab those if you like. Grown in lands afflicted by frenzy, it's used for its pain-alleviating properties, though it's also known to be a dangerous intoxicant. Got some elders wandering around. I think this should be a ledge that we can move up. Let me kill this old lady before it starts causing problems. Another one over here. Let's try moving towards the marker that I set. Stay up on the high ground. So believe it or not, we're actually quite close to the Legacy Dungeon. The Legacy Dungeon is in like the southwestern section of this zone. Legacy Dungeon's pretty short. I think they just like to, I don't know, consider the zone as part of the dungeon. It's not as short as Shadowkeep. There actually is a whole bunch in there, but yeah, I think they just like to consider the zone as part of the dungeon just because of how unique it is. Cookbook should be around here somewhere. Okay, give me 1 second. Yep, we're in this general vicinity. Oh, it's behind this tree. Thank you very much to Ape Knight Gaming for that one. That was a good guide. Cool. Should be right behind here. Yep, perfect. Okay. It's Mad Craftsman's Cookbook 2, and then is there a third one? Yeah, it's within the dungeon, though. Cool. Yeah, it's in the room with all the rats. Perfect. All right, thank you again to Ape Knight Gaming for that one. Great. Now, let's move on to the Legacy Dungeon. So, it's going to be right here. So, we're actually not far away from it at all. Just be careful when dropping. Great. Now, I believe that there's a, there's Somber Smithing Stone 7 near the waterfall side of Grace. So what I'll do really quick is once we enter the dungeon, I'll just warp back there really quick. So you can see this place is really inviting. Truly, truly inviting. Yeah, just a couple golden runes outside. Nothing crazy. Great. Okay, cool. All right, let's walk in and then get started on the dungeon itself. And again, the dungeon's not terribly long, but it does have a really, really cool boss fight. Okay, so this is Midra's Manse. Welcome to the Legacy Dungeon. Really quick, let's just go get that final decent treasure in the woods. It's a Somber Smithing Stone 7. Should be like right over here. Full disclosure, I'm using the Fextra Life Interactive map, which is like such a cool feature of that website. I know I kind of dump on them a lot. They don't have the greatest reputation for having accurate information, but this interactive map is just excellent. So it should just be up on this hill. It's all the way up there. I'm not going to bother. Okay. I might just say screw it. Unless it's on this side. Alright, it's just a smithing stone. Who cares? It's fine. Alright, let's start the dungeon. The cookbooks were important. The smithing stone isn't. Okay, cool. So this is Midra's Manse. We have this door, which does not open from this side, and then we have this ghost who tells us, I welcome you, O uninvited guest, but I warn as you venture in, heed the words of our great master Midra, approach not the madness, lest ye succumb. Okay, so this is an illusory wall. And then welcome to the worst episode of Hoarders you've ever seen. There is a lot going on in this place, including, for some reason, these horned warriors that just sort of appear. I don't think they're native to this place, but they do appear here. These are not kill once enemies, so you're going to have to deal with them every time you die. Wow, I don't know where that was. That was pretty lucky. Oh my god, I can't believe I didn't just die. Same there. And there. Oh my god, I ran out of stamina. This is the worst. I've never died so many times in a video, I don't think. That was all types of sloppy. It was not good. Alright, I don't like that we aggroed all these guys now, but it is what it is. I can't believe he took that long to see us. Just be careful when he finally does his last slam. He's going to dig in, just like that. Great. What do you want? All right, start clearing out this room now. So, okay, that's the item I was holding the spoiler for, the Winter Lanternfly. So we get a torn diary page, but let's read the Winter Lanternfly first. Winged insect carrying a dangling frenzied flame grape, material used for crafting items, flies lazily around the abyssal forest, said to be heralds of the aging untouchable. On seeing these, the wise know to stay well clear of that place. If you recall, in Bloodborne, there was an enemy called the Winter Lantern, and they basically did the same thing that the aged ones did in this game. They built Frenzy, they killed you in almost one hit, and the only way to really kill them was parrying. So it's just a nice little touch in this game. All right, the torn diary page. A discarded page ripped from a diary bearing a passage written in a tremulous hand. I touched him, but only once. When he thrusts his staff in my face, I brushed it aside. It was then that I touched him, the aging untouchable. So we're going to find out what that means in a little bit. That refers to the boss. Okay, no, we never read the item description on this. Marked with fingerprint burns, proof of having been touched directly by the three fingers embrace. So, lots of madness going on here. Lots of references to the three fingers, hyenas, fingerprint grapes, and all that. I am deliberately running quickly through this room, and that is because of the enemies up top throwing orbs at us that I don't want to deal with. So we will be able to deal with them shortly. All right, so we got another one of these guys here. That didn't work out too well. Perfect. Okay, so you can kill these guys if you like. They're not necessarily passive, but they kind of just are very slow. You've dealt with plenty of these enemies before. And again, I'm running through that room because we're going to get upstairs and then be able to actually deal with them. So this is a little bit of like a bookshelf maze. Oh my god, I was literally waiting for you. It's nothing too terrible. We will move a bookshelf. Eventually we're going to move this, and it's going to reveal a new area. Oh, don't get squished. Cool. All right, now we can go upstairs and start dealing with those enemies upstairs. Give yourself a Shadow Realm rune. Pay very close attention to your environment because these guys kind of... They're always here. They're not, like, just appearing, but they, like, come out of the dust. It's hard to see them. All right. Now we're upstairs, and we are near this guy, so what you can do is take out your bow. Deal with him a lot more quickly than before. Just wait for these to finish exploding. Great. And he drops the item that causes those fireballs. Okay. We're going to go up this ladder here. And this dungeon has a nice recursive design, so you're like finding ways back to the entrance and whatnot. But they basically put Sites of Grace like right near shortcuts, which I don't fully understand. All right, so we are going to come to a room with a lot of rats in it. So what I recommend doing is getting your beast repellent torch. It's going to come in handy. But first, we're actually going to skip the room, and we're going to run to this Site of Grace just in case that room gives us much trouble. I want to be able to just kind of come back here. Ignore the guy freaking out. You'll see him soon enough. He's right there. You can actually see him. Right where my helmet tip is, that's a guy. And that's who's crying. Alright, go ahead and get your beast repellent torch out. And then I don't really recommend jumping in there, just because Mama Rat is back there. So we're going to jump in here. Alright, so the beast repellent torch keeps the rats away from you until you start attacking them. Really, really helpful. This does not work on Mama Rat, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so that rat seems to be hanging out near Mom. Wow. Can't believe the torch was actually working for a second on the big one. It usually never works on big ones. Ooh, that was close. She almost bopped me off the ledge there. Okay, great. Cool, so that's the big rat room. And then we're going to have the third cookbook here. Mad Craftsman's Cookbook 3. Teaches us Surging Frenzied Flame. And then the second one taught us Hefty Frenzied Flame Pot. Great. Okay. Cool, and then jump off here. Wonderful. And then proceed to the Site of Grace. So I'm feeling pretty good with 9 flasks. I'm just going to keep going. This room is interesting. This room we're going to basically like go up and down a bunch of times because there's a lot going on with these bookshelves. So come over here. And I'm going to try to stay up for as long as possible. It's easier said than done. All right, so let's kill this one really fast. Okay, great. That just makes things easier. Oh. Okay. All right. Now, there are some enemies down below. So, let's jump onto this bookshelf. Great. Get yourself a level 7 Shadow Realm rune. Fall here. Wrong weapon out. We're going to grab this, Swollen Grape, and now we're looking for a switch to move that bookshelf out. Oh, yeah, I forgot the performance in this room is trash. That was really rough. I think there's just so many objects on the ground. Come through here. Okay, and then this leads right back to the entrance. This is the door opposite the painting that was an illusory wall. See what I mean? Like, we have a site of grace here, but then there's one directly above us. But it was right here, so, like, why put that second site of grace there? Anyway, another illusion. This leads to a staircase. That leads to a ladder. And this leads to the switch just above this room. So now we're going to jump across and then do the same thing. And now we're going to be able to walk along this bookshelf. Perfect. Okay, so we got to be very careful. You want to make this jump. All right. And then you have this woman right here. And this is Nanaya's torch. So this is Nanaya. Torch made by attaching a dying flame of frenzy to a small spinal column. In a distant land in an age-long past was born a man who failed to become the Lord of Frenzied Flame. All that remains of him is cradled gently by Nanaya. So, we're about to find a man who failed to become the Lord of Frenzied Flame. Okay, I'm going to see how much damage this does. Okay, that's not bad. I mean, you could always just go down there and kill her. Cool. 8,000 damage via arrows. Great. Once you're ready, plop down. This one drops a Revered Spirit Ash, which is number 13. Okay. And this is the back side of the bookshelf that we just moved. Very good. Wait, I didn't see her before. Oh, right. She moves out of here. That's why. Okay. And then we're going to go across now. This is where we killed the big one. We're going to go up this staircase. Those performance itches, baby. I knew there was another one. All right. So something that I wanted to mention is you see that these enemies have these candelabra. And the candelabra are interesting choices because I'm not sure if we have it on this character. Yes, we do. So the Candletree wooden shield is found in the base game inside of this cave on Altus Plateau back here. So it's found in the Sage's Cave in a secret chest. I'm pretty sure it's a secret chest. I don't think it's just one of the chests out in the open, but this is the Candletree wooden shield. It has a tall, medium-sized wooden shield, light for its size and easy to handle. Thought to represent a surreptitious prophecy of cardinal sin, the lit Candletree design was forbidden. So, you'll notice that the enemies in this place are using candlesticks with an almost identical design as we hop over to the chandelier. And so that should be number 14 of Revered Spirit Ash. So, what that basically is indicating is that candlestick imagery was forbidden, and like the rites that were performed with those candelabra were forbidden. And so that is why they're relegated here in the Realm of Shadow, where the things that were forbidden under Marika's rule were sent. And this is where her and Mesmer crusaded. So it was sort of, the idea was kind of always there that we would be coming to a place like this. Or at least breadcrumbs were there. Okay. So as you can tell by this guy screaming, it's time to fight him. This is the boss. However, when we kill him, he's going to die super quick in like 2 or 3 hits, but he will then transform into the actual boss, which is the Lord of Frenzied Flame. Now, if you have any gear that can prevent the buildup of Frenzy, you want to equip it. So let's equip the Pearl Shield Talisman to increase any blocking. Increase that stuff. The fire damage is not so important, but it is helpful. I think I'm okay with this setup, though. But if you have a shield that has high fire block, that will help a good deal. So we have 59 fire block on this. If you have the stats to wield it, the Fingerprint Stone Shield is an incredible shield. It's a great shield, so it is extremely heavy, but the stats on it are wonderful, especially at plus 25. So we can wield this, which has a lower fire block than what we have now, but the guard boost on it is higher. Oh, it's lower. Okay, so we're not going to use that shield. All right, so we're going to go in with this. All of his attacks build Frenzied Flame. His sword is basically an ember, so it's just burning all the time. One of his most devastating attacks, though, is this attack where he sort of like levitates like Jesus and then will dive toward us. You can actually just run behind him, and then he'll dive over your head, and you won't have to worry about the explosion. But if you find yourself unable to do that, then just block, because he can really chase you down with that dive. So if you can't run underneath him, then you're going to have to just try to block it, but it is a lot of damage. The other attack he has is a jump attack where he will attempt to stab you from overhead, sort of similar to the Twin Blade Black Knights. When he does that, you want to obviously dodge it, but then he has a follow-up attack that he will do if you're still close by, where he will drive the sword into the ground and then spikes will come out. So just get ready to roll a second time when that's happening. Just pay close attention to him, because he will sort of like move his hand again and push the sword into the ground. Otherwise, he'll just remove the sword from the ground. But if you get hit by it, it's a ton of damage. All right. So he can deal damage to you, even in this like sort of decrepit state. So just be careful. I was letting him just talk. Yeah, so he has a whale that builds frenzy. Okay, very good. So now we're going to get the actual boss fight. I'll bump the volume for you here.
Enough. I have endured more than enough. I ask you forgive me, dearest Nanaya. your foolishness! Depths of your foolishness!